Hello?
Lisa, it's Janet.
What's wrong?
It's the bridesmaids' dresses for Lindsay's wedding.
Oh, no. Tell me they're not fuchsia.
Oh, they're not fuchsia.
Then what? Oh, they're gaudy, aren't they? All ruffles and lace. Great. We'll look like a chorus line.
No. They're really quite simple. It's the material I'm most concerned about.
Oh, I knew it. I specifically said no chiffon. I mean, it's so passé. I just don't think...
It's not chiffon.
Then what?
They're made out of old yellow pages.
What? I didn't catch that. It sounded like you said they're made out of old yellow pages.
Yep, I'm afraid you heard right. It's got something to do with recycling and good karma on her wedding day.
Oh, that's special. I'm not going to know whether a guy's checking me out or just looking for the number of a good mechanic.
Funny. Very funny.
There's a better way to recycle your outdated Dex phone books. Find out just how easy we've made it in your neighborhood. Call 1-877-2-GET-DEX or log on to DexKnows.com.
Welcome to Don't Give Up Your Daydream, Transitions in a Transitioning World. Hello, I'm your host, John Knuckle. I'm a private equity advisor / author / radio host. I want to welcome my fellow creative professionals to Don't Give Up Your Daydream, where creativity and drive meet experience and guidance. Our goal is to introduce you to guests who have gone through major transitions in their lives or careers and have landed in a better place. All of them have kept their creativity alive, and that has been vital to their success. Today we welcome Samir Butt. Samir is a very talented guy. He's a writer, actor, stand-up comedian, director, producer, and I wouldn't be surprised if he knew some magic tricks. Samir has had a very interesting journey that I believe is uniquely American. There is so much for us to talk about, so please stay with us. We will be back after these brief messages.
American Heritage Music presents the Lincoln and Liberty Show. Join us on XRQK Media Group stations, Airtime America, AV News Talk, and KNJO for a walk into the past of President Lincoln's favorite music and songs. Special guest Matthew Sabatella and the Rambling String Band. Join us on Tuesday, February 16th at 11 a.m. and 8 p.m. Pacific Time for link to the broadcast. Or, to learn more, visit online at internationalradiotours.org.
Welcome back. You're listening to Don't Give Up Your Daydream. I want to welcome my guest, Samir Butt. How are you, Samir?
I'm very well, John. Thank you for having me on your show.
Oh, it's great to have you. I mean, you do so many things right now. I would like to try to start at the beginning. You didn't plan on doing this when you grew up, did you?
No. I didn't know what I was. I the only thing I knew I wanted to do when I didn't want to be boring like most of the other grown-ups when I was a kid. So that's all I knew. I knew nothing else.
But you didn't go to school to study acting or directing or anything, did you?
I didn't. I studied acting with several acting teachers, but not in any kind of matriculated program. And I did train in England at the Royal Academy for a very short time. But no, I didn't go to a conservatory program or anything like that.
But you set out to be an architect, right?
I did, yeah. My undergraduate degree is in architecture, and I have another undergraduate degree in urban design. So that's what the plan out of high school was. And then I discovered all this when I was in college, and it's kind of when I realized that this is something that can be done for a living, and I decided to pursue it.
Okay, yeah. Now, you were lucky enough when you were in college, you had an interaction with a pretty famous playwright, correct?
I did, yeah. I had no idea he was a pretty famous playwright at the time, but yes, I did. He was very instrumental.
Okay, so you're going to tell me who he is?
Yes, it was Edward. It was Edward Albee, and I took a drama class. I needed an art selective.
Wow.
With as a co-requisite, and the one I wanted was filled, and this was the only one that was available, and I kind of begrudgingly took it, and I had no idea who Edward Albee was or what the deal was or anything, and he was very it was a real it kind of changed my perspective on the arts, and it was a turning point in my life. Yeah.
I can imagine it would be. Now you were an architecture major in college, or did you turn?
I was.
Did you become? You weren't a theater major or anything like that?
No, not at all. I was an architecture major. I stayed an architecture major because even all the way through to the end, there was a part of me that didn't. I knew people made a living doing this, but I wasn't convinced that I could do it. I wanted to try, but I also, in the back of my mind, like any sensible immigrant, I was always I wanted a plan B, which in hindsight wasn't a very smart plan B, because it's not like architecture is something that you can rely on either.
Yeah, but, and you can't jump back in and out of it. Also, if you get a gig,
you can't.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Now, how did you end up in New York? You went to college at University of Houston, right?
So I started out at a college in Iowa, then I transferred to the University of Houston. I immensely disliked it there. I just didn't. It wasn't a good fit for me. But that's where I discovered Edward Albee, because he used to teach a drama class there in the spring semester, and then he was the one who I started doing small plays and just improv, and I met a whole world of people that I didn't know existed. Until I took that class, and he kind of sensed and saw how unhappy I was in Houston, and how happy I was when I was doing the acting, the drama, the writing, the improv, the comedy thing. So he kind of urged me to. He said, just move to New York or California, because if you stay here, I get the sense that you're probably going to drop out of college. Yeah. So he told me to just apply and just to other schools in New York where I would be closer to the arts. The art scene was a little more robust, and so I took his advice and I transferred, and I came to the New York Institute of Technology and NYU.
Yeah. Wow. See that now that. One of the things that is a theme in all of the shows and every single guest we have is that every single one share the quality that they're adaptable. They're not afraid to make changes. They're not afraid to adapt to new technology or moving. That is a very important thing. But you, actually, your first real job was as an architect, right?
I did, yeah. I graduated from college. I got a job at an architectural firm, and and here's the thing for me. Maybe I wasn't psychologically prepared for the workforce but it was with a large architectural firm, and you go from the transition is that you go from your senior project is doing a waterfront development design or a church or something like that.
Yeah.
And you're the architect in school, and then you start working and you're looking up elevator codes and working on someone else's plans for 16 hours a day, making next to no money. And it wasn't rewarding to me. I didn't, and I have to feel, for me, the work has to have some kind of meaning, and that to me was meaningless. I found no joy, no purpose in that whatsoever.
And then you change, and now I know we met down on the floor of the stock exchange many years ago.
Yeah, so now, a friend of mine... Go on.
Go ahead. No, go ahead. Go.
Yeah, a friend of mine told me that they were hiring down on Wall Street in the financial district, so that's... And the money was better, and I was like, I don't know the difference between livestock and common stock. So he's like, yeah, no, they teach you all that. They just want someone with a quasi-engineering math background, and I guess architecture kind of fooled them into thinking that I had that.
That you knew math.
So I got a job, and the money was better, the hours were better, and the biggest thing was it gave me the flexibility and the freedom to pursue the things I had come to New York to pursue.
Well, this is where the story gets interesting, and because you started doing stand-up, so you're working on the floor of the stock exchange during the day, and you're going into the comedy clubs in Manhattan. Like, how does one do that? How does one just get a gig doing stand-up in New York? How does that work?
So for me, I've been out of it for a very long time. So you'll have to forgive me because the information I'm giving you is from when I was doing it. Yeah. So it started when I was in college. Me and my friends, we loved going to comedy clubs. And then I found out that there's this thing called open mic night where you go in there. If you have a few minutes of material, you put your name on a list and they'll call you up if time permits. And so I started doing that. And and the first time I remember I got a laugh, I felt so triumphant because it was, oh my God, I can do this. I can make strangers laugh, and I get free drinks in exchange at this place. so that was that's how it started, and so then I just kept doing that, and then one day this club promoter said, "Hey, do you want to just go on?" And I was like, "All right." Yeah. And I think it was $55 for I forget what it was, like 7 or 8 minutes of material. And then and I would say about 80% of it was original, and then I still didn't know that it wasn't cool to steal stuff from other comics. So about 20% of it was kind of ripped off. And then this one comedian over there said, "Listen, it's kind of you have to write your own stuff. I mean, it's funny when you have people from a tour bus from Wisconsin here on a Tuesday night because they don't care. But if you want to be taken seriously and if you want to be respected, you have to write your own material." So then I did. I started writing my own stuff, and I over time I just realized that I enjoy the writing part of it more than I enjoyed the performing part of it.
Wow, that's interesting.
So because the writing part of it was always because it was all in my head and it was always funny. The audience always laughed when I was writing it.
When you were writing it,
When I was alone in my room, the audience in my mind always laughed. But that didn't always happen when I was on stage performing it.
So why don't you keep the laughs and let someone else get the non-laughs, right?
Yeah.
So you started writing for other comedians?
Yeah, so I started... So I had one comedian in particular heard this one joke of mine, and it was one of these things where some nights it would get a great laugh,